Excellence is achieved by those who dare to believe that something inside them is superior than their circumstances. With these words, welcome you all to ABS Creations by your educationalist Chandrakala. Rise up, start fresh, see the bright opportunity in each new day. If you have not subscribed the channel and press the bell icon to receive the notification. Today we will discuss about classification of industries under manufacturing industries part 2 of CBSE grade 10. In the previous video of manufacturing industries part 1, we have discussed about what is manufacturing and what is the significance of manufacturing industries and how the manufacturing industries have contributed to the GDP of our nation, and even we have discussed about the factors which influence the location of industries. So now in this particular video we are going to deal about the classification of industries, how the industries have been classified on various bases. So before we enter into the classification of industries, we should know what is an industry. So industry is the organized production of goods or services. So these industries, which is an organized production of goods or services, it can be classified. It can be manufacturing or even service industries. It can be manufacturing or even service industries. Traditionally, the word industry has been referred to any of the economic activity concerned with processing of raw material into finished products with the help of machines in the factories. So the word industry, traditionally how it is defined is that it is an economic activity concerned with processing of raw material into finished goods with the help of machines in factories. So this process of converting the raw material into a finished good, we say it as a manufacturing. Process of converting the raw material into a finished product, we call it as a manufacturing. So during the process of manufacturing, what happens? Value is added to the good. And when the value is added to the good, it becomes a greater use to the humans. For example, to understand the value is added to the good in a better manner, let us take an example of making a loaf of a bread. To make a loaf of a bread, what is required? Wheat is required as a first ground raw material. So the wheat is first grounded and made into a flour. Then flour is mixed with yeast, water, milk and salt, and then it is baked in an oven to produce a final product, bread. So here the value is added to the raw material wheat through the process of manufacturing. So this is what we say it as value is added to the good, which becomes a greater use to the human. Now let us discuss about how the industries have been classified. So there are several ways of classifying an industry. So industries may be classified on the basis of raw materials, on the basis of the main role played by them, on the basis of capital or capital investment, and on the basis of ownership, and even the industries are classified on the basis of bulk and weight of raw material. So now we'll discuss each different types of industries on various bases in a deep manner. So now we'll discuss about industries based on raw materials. How the industries have been classified on the basis of the raw material. So it may be classified as agro-based industries, mineral-based industry, marine-based industry, pastoral-based industry, and the forest-based industries. So industries based on the source of raw material are classified as agro-based industries, mineral-based industries, marine-based industry, pastoral-based industry, and forest-based industry. What is agro-based industry? So the industries which depend upon their raw material from the agricultural sector. When an industry depends upon the raw material from the agricultural sector, those industries can be referred as agro-based industry. For example, cotton textile industry, food processing industry, jute industry, tea industry, coffee industry, edible oil, etc. All these comes under agro-based industries. So agro-based industries are the industries which depend upon the raw material from the agriculture sector. The next type of industry is mineral-based industry. So mineral based industries are the industries that get the raw material from the minerals which are then processed and turned into a finished product. So industries that depend upon the raw material from the mining areas, that is for extracting the minerals. After extracting the minerals, it has been processed and turned into a finished good. Those type of industry, they come under the category of mineral based industry. So example, we can say it as iron and steel industry, automobile industry, cement industry, aluminum industry, machine tools, petrochemicals, etc. The next type of industry based on the source of raw material is that marine based industry. So what is marine based industry means? The industries which utilizes the products from the sea and the oceans as raw materials. Those type of industries, they come under the category of marine based industry. Example may be seafood processing industries, manufacturers of cod liver oil, etc. The next type of industry based on the source of raw material is that pastoral based industries. So it is nothing but the industries which acquire the raw material from the animals like sheep, goats and cattle. So they obtain the raw material from animals like sheep, goats and the cattle. So they make the products. So with the help of these raw material obtained from those animals here, they make products like wool, hide, meat and milk. So for example, the industry, what are the industries means? So example, it may be woolen textile industry, dairy industry and even leather industries. So based on the source of raw material, the industries are classified as agro-based industry, mineral-based industry, marine-based industry, pastoral-based industry, and the last industry based on source of raw material is the forest-based industry, which obtain the raw material from the shrubs, herbs, grasses and even trees in the forested area. So these industries, they use wood or wood pulp as their raw material. So forest based industry use wood or wood pulp as their raw material. So for example, paper industry, timber industry. Now let us discuss the industries based on their main role. So how the industries are classified based on their main role. So based on their main role, the industries can be of two types. They are the basic or key industries and consumer industries. What is basic or key industries? It is nothing but the industry which supply the products or raw materials to manufacture other goods. So for example, iron and steel industry, copper smelting. So this iron and steel products, it is used even for the household activities also. So it is not only used in household here, it is not only used in large scale industry, it is also used even in the cottage industries. So industries which supply the products or raw materials to manufacture other goods, they are referred as basic or key industries. Example may be iron and steel, copper smelting, aluminum smelting, etc. The next type of industry based on their role is consumer industries. So consumer industries are the industries that produce goods for direct use by consumer. For example, sugar we can directly use, toothpaste we can directly use, paper we can directly use, sewing machines you can use, fan you can use. All these are the consumer industries, consumer products which are used directly by the consumer. So those type of industry came to be called as what? Consumer industries. So according to their main role, the industries are classified as basic or key industries and consumer industries. The third classification of industries is based on the capital investment, or we can say it as size of the industry, on the basis of size or based on the capital investment. So three types of industries it can be classified. They are the large scale industry, small scale industry and cottage industries. So what are the three types of industries based on the size or otherwise based on the capital investment? They are the large scale industry, small scale industry and the cottage industries. Now we'll see what is a large scale industry. So LSI, large scale industry. So these large scale industries, what do? Use means they use large amounts of capital, that is money, huge amount of capital, huge machineries, modern and superior technology to manufacture goods. So to run the machines, What is required means, so these large scale industries need huge amounts of power. They need huge amount of power. And even the employers, they employ more number of workers. They employ what? More number of workers. So they obtain more raw material from distant region, and the production is on large scale. The production is on large scale. So what happened when the production is on large scale? Automatically they sell their goods even to the distant markets. That is, they start exporting to the other countries also. So example maybe shipbuilding industry, aircraft industry, iron and steel industry, etc. So in general, in simple words, we can say the large scale industries are the huge industries which involve more in number of investment, more number of workers, production is more, and even the power is also required more. So the production is more. As production is more, automatically what is that? It helps in exporting their goods to the other foreign countries. So example may be iron and steel industry, aircraft industry, shipbuilding industry, petrochemicals, textile industry, railway coaches, etc. So the next type of industry on the basis of capital investment is small scale industries. When we talk about small scale industry, these are the small manufacturing units which has been set up with limited capital. So when compared to the large scale industries, the amount of capital, the capital invested in the small scale industry is very less. And they hire the skilled labor. When compared to cottage industries, more number of workers are working in the small scale industries. So when compared to the large scale, it is very less. When compared to the cottage industries, it is more. So what happened? They are bigger than the cottage industries but use lesser amount of capital and technology as compared to the large scale industries. So mainly what type of produce they manufacture is that they mainly produce for domestic markets. And sometimes they also export to the global markets. So these type of industries, they are referred to as what? Small scale industries. For example, silk weaving, furniture and fittings, so manufacturing chemicals, automobile components, producing garments, food and leather items, etc. come under the category of small scale industries. Then the third type of industry based on the size or capital investment is that cottage industries. So this cottage industry can also be known as village industry or household industries. Cottage industries are also known as village industries or household industries. So here in this particular type of industries, few people gather together and use simple tools for making things for sale. They use simple tools to make things for sale. Even the family members may involve in this particular type of cottage industries. So they usually work from where? They usually work from home, and they do not use machineries. They do not use machines. For example, toy making, weaving, pottery, shoemaking, jewelry making. So all these are the household activities which can be carried out even at home or otherwise we can start as a small business. So that is cottage industries. So based on the size or the capital investment, there are three types of industries. They are the large scale industries, small scale industry and the cottage industries. Then next classification of industry is based on their ownership. On the basis of ownership, how the industries are classified. So we can say that industries are classified into 5 categories. They are the public sector industry, private sector industries, joint sector industry, cooperative sector industries and the multinational firms. So how the industries are classified on the basis of the ownership here? They are the public sector industry, private sector, joint sector, cooperative sector and the multinational firms. So you can see the example of Bell and SAIL. BHEL. Bell is what? Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited. SAIL, Steel Authority of India Limited. So Bell and SAIL, they come under which activity, which sector? Come under public sector. So the industries. So Bell and SAIL are the industries which are owned and managed and controlled by the state or the central government. So public sector industries are owned, managed and controlled by the state or central government. So what happened? Most of the main aim of this public sector industries, the main aim of the public sector industry is to is to meet the benefit of the public, than for making profits. So it is not a profit oriented industry, but it operates, this type of industry operates for the benefit of the public. So the price of the products in this public sector, it has been fixed through planning. So example, we can say it as Bell, SAIL, Indian Railways, Indian Oil Corporation, etc. The next type of industry based on the ownership is that private sector. So private sector, for example, you can see Reliance Industries, Tata Communications. Now at present we can say VI, that is Vodafone with Idea. So all these come under private sector industries. So the industries which is owned, managed and controlled by individuals or group of individuals. So those type of industry come under the category of private sector industries. So these type of industries mainly aim for profit. So we can say it as a profit oriented business, but public sector is the sector which is useful for the benefit of the people, public. So for example, we can say Reliance Industries, Birla group of industries, Tata group of companies, etc. The next type of industry on the basis of ownership is that joint sector industries. So it is nothing but the industries which are owned, managed and controlled jointly by both the private firms and the government agencies. So these industries, what do? Means they operate with dual goal. So dual goal of making profits, and also it ensures the welfare of the people. So dual objective is that it needs profit, at the same time it should meet the welfare of the people. So for example, Maruti Udyog Limited, Oil India Limited and even we can say Gujarat Alkalis. The next type of industry based on the capital, based on the ownership is that cooperative sector industries. So by the word cooperative sectors industry itself, it is clearly understood that the industries which are owned, managed and controlled by a group of people belonging to a cooperative society. Belonging to which society here? Cooperative society. So here what do? The members of the cooperative society usually produce the raw material. So even they process the raw material to add value and thereby they earn the profit. Whatever the profit is earned by the group of people in a cooperative society, the profit will be shared among the members of that society. So those type of industry, they come under the category of what? Cooperative sector industries. So for example, main aim of this industry is that operate with the motive of community welfare. These industries operate with the motive of community welfare. So for example, we can say it as sugar industry, Koya industry, Amul, that is Anand Cooperative Milk Production Union Limited, West Bengal State Cooperative Bank, Grameen Bank. We can say all this comes under cooperative sector industries. And the last industry which is based on the ownership is that multinational firms. So multinational firms are big companies that operate from several countries. They will have a headquarter in one country and they will have branches, production in one area, marketing in another area. So it have a different it has its operation from several countries. So these companies operate with a desire to be globally competitive and to get maximum profit. For example, Infosys, NIIT, Tata Steel, Nokia, Samsung, Coca-Cola, all these come under the category of multinational firms. So the industries which is classified on the basis of the ownership are, what are the industries here? Public sector industry, private sector industry, joint sector industry, cooperative sector industry and the multinational firms. Then next type of industries are based on the bulk and the weight of the raw material. So based on the bulk and the weight of the raw material, we say there are two types of industries, heavy industries and light industries. Based on the bulk and the weight of the raw material, there are two types of industries, light industries and heavy industries. So heavy industries is nothing but an industry that involves one or more characteristics. That is, large and heavy products, large and heavy equipment and facilities are used in manufacturing the product. So whatever they use the product, it will be heavy. We understood this. That is what we say it as a heavy industries. For example, iron and steel industry. Iron and steel industry come under the category of heavy industries. The next industry is that light industries. So the industry which uses light raw materials and produce light goods, those type of industries, they come under the category of light industries. So example, sewing machine, fan, all these which can be used directly by the consumer also. So that is what we say it as a light industries. So based on the bulk and the weight of the raw material and finished goods, the industries are classified into two. They are the heavy industries and light industries. So I think you understood the concept. So on what basis the industries are classified? On the basis of source of raw material, on the basis of their main role, on the basis of the size of capital investment, on the basis of their ownership, and on the basis on the bulk and the weight of raw material and the finished good. So the next video we will discuss about the textile industries, which comprises of cotton textile, jute and even the sugar industry, which comes under completely agro-based industries. So test yourself by reading these questions. List out the bases in which industries are classified. Distinguish between agro-based industry and mineral-based industry. Explain the various industries on basis of ownership. Classify the following into two groups based on the basis of bulk and weight of raw material and finished goods: oil, knitting needles, paint presses, sewing machines, electric bulbs. If you like this video, you can like it, share it. Thank you.